And then I got this vision. I got this vision in my head, and I said, I really feel the type of life that you want is just an elevator ride away. I, I'm sorry if that sounds crazy, but hey, everybody. Welcome back to All Paths Lead Home. This is your host, Julie Crissell, and I am so excited. This is our very first official full-length episode. And today's episode, we are going to be talking about the power of self-awareness. This is such a huge topic that I had to write some notes for myself because I think that's a good thing though about all these episodes that we are trying to create. I just have so much to say. And I am somebody that can like talk and talk and talk and talk. And so I made sure that I had some notes to help me speed the process up a little bit, get me back on track whenever I forget what I'm saying. So I'm definitely super excited. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the power of self-awareness. I do want to start by saying everything that is said, not only in today's episode, but the rest of the episodes for the season, is completely informative. This is all information. And not only do I say this to like save myself, but I say it because at the end of the day, we're constantly receiving information, right? Ultimately, it's your choice to choose whether what you've learned or what you've received you want to implement in your life. So it's important that you realize that, like, just because you hear my podcast or you watch YouTube videos on a whole bunch of similar topics and you follow people on Instagram that talk about similar topics, like, that doesn't make you a self-aware person. Your actions need to make you a self-aware person. And I say this because me and my boyfriend were actually just talking about it. We were saying, like, there are self-aware dicks. Let me find a better word. There is a self-aware people that are mean. They are very self-aware that they're mean, but are they choosing to make a decision that is going to help them become better? Probably not. There are some people that are just very self-aware of their actions. They're very self-aware of what or how they make other people feel, and they won't change because they don't want to, not because they can't. I'm like a firm believer people can change at all moments in their life. You can be 5 days before you die, and I will tell you to your face, you can change right now, because that is just how much power we have in ourselves. I mean, we have an infinite amount of power. And I think being able to be self-aware guides us 100% to better using it, better using our voice, and better using our energy that we put out. And ultimately, it is better for you to be a self-aware person. But again, because you hear this information does not necessarily mean that because now you know what self-aware is, you are self-aware, or you are now a better person. No, you need to implement shit in your life. Okay. Now, I also just want to say if I cuss, I'm sorry. I have been, no, let me not say I've been trying to work on my language because I haven't, but um, fuck it. Who cares? I don't care. So, anyways, moving on. I want to start with the definition of self-awareness. And like all things on earth, everybody has a different perception of what self-awareness alone means. Um, my personal opinion, um, self-awareness is just being able to look back at your feelings, at your emotions, at your actions objectively, and being intimate with them, like being intimate with your feelings and not feeling like you need to run away from them. Whoa. Okay, that's too much. We just started. I'm sorry, guys. I'll start off slow. So, again, self awareness, I believe it's just the ability to focus on your emotions, on your thoughts, and think about whether the actions that you've been making align with yourself and align with your values. And I think it's important that we do that all the time. And it's funny because I was actually reading something not too long ago that was stating that, like, in a workforce, people in lower positions are the more self-aware people, and the higher you climb up the ladder, and not all workforces, of course, but most people, the higher they get, the more self-assured they are, which makes them less self-aware. And so I think it's just the thought of like, oh, I'm up here obviously because I've been doing things right. So let me start being less self-aware of the things that I'm doing because I know I'm doing everything right. And so it kind of makes sense when you look at it that way. It kind of makes sense. Like, yes, I understand where it's coming from, but that's why I think it's so important, y'all, that we just always look inward, talk to yourself. Really, I mean, truly, how many people talk to themselves? Like, actually talk to themselves. Um, it's really important to communicate with yourself, but I'm not gonna get ahead I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. So we just defined self-awareness, right? So with self-awareness, I think once you start tapping into that, you will see that you'll be happier. You will influence people more. You will be better at making decisions. Um, I mean, maybe even become a more effective leader if that's who you are. Um, but I just want to emphasize on the importance of looking inward. I think we look outward so much for so many things. Um, all the answers are inside us, guys. The answer to a better life, a healthier life, a happier life, all those answers are inside of us. And please take time to close your eyes and be with yourself. I know how fast life can go, especially if you are in a workforce of fast, constant movement, like constant changes. It's just like going. People that can't even keep up get left behind. Like, especially if you're in situations like those, oh my goodness, it is so important to ask yourself, how are you doing? How how are you doing? How are you doing? Really? Okay, moving on. So, with self-awareness, there are a couple of components that we can really put in there to help us better understand this or integrate this in our daily lives. I like to think of three things that I can kind of tag along with self-awareness. One of them is mindfulness. Same thing as I was just saying, like taking your time and looking inward. Mindfulness can be described as being in the present. That's who you are. You are constantly living in the present, not worried about the past, not worried about the future, just what's going on now. That is where I'm going to keep myself in the present. And I think it's really important for us to try to be mindful more often. I mean, you'd be amazed at how many people live their life in autopilot. Like, again, going back to if you're working in that environment where things are constant, go, 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 like you're in a stressful environment, you're not happy, you're not self aware that you aren't happy, it is so hard. And I've obviously, I mean, not obviously, but I have been in positions like that. And I'll get to the point where I'm like, oh shit, 3 months just flew by. Like we were January and now we're already March. How? And when you're in that stressful environment, it's something good, right? Like, hell yes, 3 months just passed by like that. 3 more months and we're out of here, or 3 more months and I have this vacation, whatever the case may be. That is not being mindful. Let me just say that. And it was something that I don't think I realized, like, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I realized how important it was until this year. And honestly, I mean, before I keep going, I just want to say I am so, 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 so lucky to have my boyfriend. And he is constantly pushing me to become a better person. And I couldn't thank him enough for that. But with that being said, he was the one who actually helped me pay attention to the fact that I dreaded Mondays, or not even Mondays, guys. Like I was not even dreading Mondays. I was dreading Sundays. Sundays, because since Sunday, I needed to start getting ready for the weeks. But if you're constantly get up, go to work, come back, make dinner, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come back, make dinner, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come back, make dinner, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come back, make dinner, go to sleep, get up, go to work, come back, make dinner, go to sleep. You're not living. You're not, especially if, yay, Fridays come by, but then Saturday it's get up, clean, do laundry, do all these errands that you needed to do because you weren't able to do them during the week. And then Sunday is do all these errands that you need to do before the week because you're not going to be able to do them during that next week. Like that is not living in mindfulness. Like it isn't. And if you are living in on autopilot, please try to break away from that. Please. It can really drain somebody. It really, really can. And so mindfulness, y'all. Alrighty. Another component that I think I would tag in there with self-awareness would be introspection. And this is the ability to look at your thoughts and your emotions in the way that you process them. And so it's not necessarily the emotions that you have, but how do you process that? Do you process that in a positive way, or do you process that in a negative way? And so if you're really trying to become this self-aware person, introspection, really try to think not only why do I feel this way, but what components from the situation I was just in is making me feel this way. talk to yourself, learn yourself, figure those things out, learn your processes, and you will be able to regulate your emotions so much more easier. And my third component would be emotional intelligence. Again, this can mean something different to somebody else, but personally, emotional intelligence to me is being able to understand your feelings, not just understand your feelings, but manage them to be used in a positive way. Y'all, this is it. Emotional intelligence. Because again, like I said, people can very well be self-aware, 100%. But will they change? No, because they do not have emotional intelligence. They don't realize that being this negative person, this mean person towards other people is really truly only affecting them at the end of the day. So emotional intelligence, y'all, make sure you go in there and turn that thing on. So before I move on to the benefits of being self-aware, I did want to go over another little subject that I think is really perfect for today's episode, because I think we will be able to clearly identify some emotions or some feelings that we have and learn how we can kind of manage them to be used in a more positive way, or how we can reinforce ourselves that, we're going to be okay, we're good. But before I get into this, I want to just say you should not ever give somebody else the ability to hurt you. Okay. You should have 100% power of when you are happy and when you don't choose to be. And that should be almost never, but you should have 100% control, because you can never, ever control how rude somebody else is, what kind of day somebody else is having. If somebody cusses you out for no reason and it was because they had a bad day, that's a reflection of how they feel with themselves, not with you. So please never, ever give somebody the ability to make you unhappy or make you feel less worthy. Like, fuck that. No, never. Sorry, but don't. Please don't. Okay. So I want to get into the 5 wounds of the soul. And I've seen them be called different things. You can search 5 wounds if you want to, 5 wounds of, and we'll see if they pop up for you. But so the 5 wounds of the soul are betrayal, rejection, abandonment, humiliation, and injustice. Okay. Now, with what I just told you, if you ever feel these feelings, no, it's because you feel self-betrayal, self-rejection, self-abandonment, self-humiliation, and self-injustice. Okay? Because again, if this is a feeling that you accept in you, it's because you're doing these things to yourself, right? Which it's normal. It's normal. Come on. It's normal. 5 wounds of the soul. We're all going to have them. We're all going to have them. It's normal. It's normal to feel betrayed at some point. It's normal to feel rejected. It's normal to feel abandoned. It's normal to feel humiliated. And it's normal to feel like you don't, injustice. How can we fix these though? Because just because something's normal doesn't mean it's okay. Like, Come on, guys. It's not okay to feel these things, especially when they're not directed towards you. But let's get into it. How can we fix self-betrayal, right? If we're in a position of feeling betrayed, it's really because it's self-betrayal. But how can we fix this so that we don't feel self-betrayal? Maybe have self-loyalty. Be loyal to yourself. Be loyal to your values. Be loyal to your beliefs. Be loyal to your morals. Be loyal to your choices. Be loyal to your decisions. Just be loyal to you. If you can be unconditionally loyal to yourself, I guarantee you, you will feel betrayal much, much less. Because again, it is impossible to control the outsides. It's impossible to control other people. You can always control what you feel. And if yourself and your loyalty are like this, there's no space in there for self-betrayal at all, right? What was the next one? Rejection. We've all felt it. We can be scared of feeling rejection, but what is something that we can then learn to help us feel less of this self-rejection, to help us feel less of being able to be rejected? Self-acceptance. If you accept yourself 100%, then you will never feel rejection. Why? Why would you feel rejection? You've accepted yourself. So why is that rejection? Next one. Abandonment. What is something that we can train our minds to constantly think of when we start feeling feelings of abandonment? And I think this is the most important. I think this is where abandonment and attachment go hand in hand. We get very attached because we're very scared of abandonment. But what it is that can help us is self-love. If you love yourself complete, if you love yourself from top to bottom, inside out, 0 to 100, 100 to 0, if you love yourself 100%, there will 100% be less feelings of abandonment. What are you afraid of? Who's going to abandon you? Yourself? Nope. I love myself. I can't be abandoned. Try to tell me that. I'm never by myself. If I love being with myself, I love myself, I'm never going to feel abandoned. Next, humiliation. How can we get less feeling of humiliation? How, when we feel humiliated, can we become self-aware and not only become self-aware that we're feeling humiliated, but how can we use our emotional intelligence to help us move away from this humiliated feeling? Self-respect. If you respect yourself, you will never feel humiliated, ever, 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 ever. And the last one, injustice. I think for this one, what we can do, what we can train ourselves to feel, forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Forgive, just forgive. And there was one thing that I learned recently, and I think it's so powerful. But y'all, when you forgive, like really, oh my gosh, not me getting teary-eyed, I don't know how you say it, but when you forgive, when you go in there and you hug that part and you forgive it and you let it go, when you do that, you've reached top tier. Like you've managed to become self-aware, because what I learned was that at the end of the day, forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is for you, not for the people. Sorry guys. Sorry, I was getting a little too emotional, but yeah, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the people that you are forgiving. It's not. It's for you. You're able to grow. You're able to love more. You have more space in your soul to love more when you forgive. Like, it's 100% for you. And so when you feel things are unfair, forgive. Forgive. And I really hope this helps you guys identify some feelings that we have and try to work against them, you know? This is it's a lot, but super happy. I'm super happy that this was the first episode that we decided to do. I think it was a great starting point. It is a great starting point. What am I saying? But let's continue. I quickly want to go over the benefits of self-awareness and what are some ways they can really help us when we start implementing being self-aware in our day-to-day lives. One of the biggest reasons that I believe you really need to start looking inward and becoming more self-aware is because we truly have the potential to change our outcomes. With that being said, we have the potential to change our destiny, where we're going, where we're heading 100%. Life is not like your life is already planned. No. And I'm sorry if I'm going against some of y'all's beliefs, but no matter where you are at any time, date, point, you always have the choice to have a different outcome of your life. And so I think about a week or two ago, we watched Vacation Friends. If I'm not mistaken, that's what it's called, with John Cena. I think it's with John Cena. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Literally, the movie does not matter. But there is a scene where there's a groom, he's getting married, and he has this, like, his relationship is kind of rocky with his in-law, with his father-in-law. And so there's a scene where they're like, I think they're like at the dinner party before the wedding. I don't remember, but there's a scene where the groom is talking to the father-in-law. And so the father-in-law is this, I think he's like a congressman, if I'm not mistaken, or something. He's like this big man with money. And so the way he's talking to the father-in-law, he's like, he's afraid of him, and it's dull and negative. Like, even the scene is like dull, like it's crazy. And then literally his parents come in as he's talking to the father-in-law. His parents come in, and his parents are like cracking up. They're super happy. They're like, she's talking about her husband farting and stuff in front of him, and like the father-in-law's kind of weirded out, but they're in their own world. Like, they're literally in their own world. And I don't think the lighting was actually different in the movie, but oh my goodness, like when you see them walk in, you see the scene like change. He doesn't feel threatened anymore. He doesn't feel like scared. And they genuinely do not give a fuck about who he is. Like, they are living their life. You could be whoever you are right now. Like, we're in our own world. We're happy. We're joking around, like, and we're still going to say jokes in front of you regardless. And so, seeing these two environments where you have the father-in-law congressman, and then you have his parents, and they're not as important as the father-in-law is, and they don't have as much money as the father-in-law has, but they're so much happier. Okay, let me state that. And then I got this vision in my head, and I said, I really feel the type of life that you want is just an elevator ride away. I'm sorry if that sounds crazy, but that's really how I saw it. Like, you have floors 1 through 10, and one is like people in low vibrations, low energy. They're usually not happy. They're always in this mood, you know, and then you have people in the 10th floor, and these are like you're happy people, you're free people, people that are in love, like you have them there. And I said, if somebody can realize, oh shit, I'm on the 3rd floor. I'm I'm almost close to these people down here that literally are not happy at all. Like if somebody can realize that and say, let me get on the elevator, click 10 and go all the way up to 10, and they go in there and it's like boom, everything everything is high vibration, everything is high frequency, everything is positive love, everything is just good. You yourself are immediately in that position. Why? Because you're not walking around, people are complaining about everything. No, people are happy, people are in their own lives, like, and that is why being self-aware is so important. How are you ever going to get yourself to happy if you're not aware that you're not happy? It's important that you look in. It really, really is. How are you going to pray that God gives you the path to your desire when you don't even know what your desire is? How are you going to change your life and become happy and you don't even know that you're not happy? How? If you don't take a moment to look inward and realize your desires, realize what type of health you want, realize what type of life you want, then you're never going to know how to ask for it. Moving on. So, that's a big benefit, huge benefit to becoming self-aware. You will be able to change the outcome, definitely, 100%. When you realize that the way you're living right now, the path that you're going on right now, the moment that you're in right now is not the moment that you want to be. When you become self-aware and realize, oh shit, I don't want to be here, that's the moment. Well, we did say that some people can be self-aware and not want to make decisions to become better. But, if you have emotional intelligence, you will change your outcome. Because as soon as you start realizing, I'm not happy, how do I become happy? How do I get to the position where I can influence my outcome? And another benefit that I would like to add with practicing self-awareness would be being able to just regulate your emotions. Like when we just went over the 5 wounds of the soul, I think, like I mentioned, when we're able to identify that we're getting one of those feelings, we already know what it is that we need to focus on. And so that is so powerful to use, especially in the moment, y'all. Like literally in the moment. It's such a powerful tool to use in the moment. And so that gives you the ability to regulate your emotions, to not just react like super quick, but stop and say, wait, why do I feel like this? And am I about to respond crazy? No, I'm going to work on myself, because what you said just hurt me, but that's a me problem. That's me. That's telling me I need to work on something. I need to work on my confidence, or I need to work on my self-loyalty. I need to work on my self-respect, right? Y'all need to think like that for real. You guys need to start thinking like that. Don't be fighting with people out here, y'all. Really don't. If something really hurts you and gets to you, whatever is being told to you from another person, please know that that's something that you need to look. I mean, they need, like, fuck, they need to look into. Yes, they need to look in as well. But we need to be in mental states of knowing we're so secure with ourselves. We're so in love with ourselves. Like we just we're, with ourselves, that we're never going to feel abandoned. We're never going to feel humiliated. We're never going to feel rejected. Like, you're rejecting me? What? Me? I'm super cool. I'm super beautiful. I'm super awesome. I'm super funny. Actually, I reject you. But just just being able to control your emotions and look inward like that, you got the key to it all. You really do. It's a very powerful tool. All right, guys. So we're gonna move on. I wanted to share a couple of practices that I think will help with becoming self-aware. And so one of my favorite, which I'm sure this is a thing. Like, I'm sure there's a term for this, but I was thinking the other day, I love rereading books that I love. Like, I won't reread all the books that I've read, but I love rereading the books that I love. The very, very first book I ever read, I read that book all the time because I love it. Kid you not, every time that I read that book, I learn something new still. Or I'm like, what? When did this happen? Like, I've literally read this 5 times. When did this? What? Like, you learn new shit all the time. And I was sitting one day on the couch and I told my boyfriend, like, we need to start doing that and using that, but with ourselves. Like, we need to sit down and replay the day in our heads, like replay the day the same way you replay a movie. How much new information are you going to pick up from that? Like, just imagine, y'all, like, you guys sit through a movie and then you watch it again 7 months later and you're like, I don't even remember this. That's new information being downloaded to you. And it's like, if we can sit for a minute after a whole day and replay our day, how much more information will we get? And what you do with this information, again, ultimately is up to you. But being able to look back at interactions, at situations, and saying, oh, maybe he really didn't mean it that way. Or, oh, now that I'm replaying that, that wasn't that mean. So being able to sit and replay your day in your mind will just help you so much more out. And if you can't visually sit down and replay your day, it kind of brings us a little more into what my next practice was going to be, which is journaling. Sit down and talk about your day, y'all. Like, we go through so much craziness, so much, like, it's so chaotic outside, like, so chaotic. And if we never sit down and realize how much that impacted us, like, that's stuff that we're just like piling at the back of our heads that we never like talked about them. We never, I don't know, expressed them. Like, you guys, journaling and replaying your day in your head, do it, y'all. Like, it won't hurt you. And once you get in that momentum, you will definitely realize how much it will help you. It just gives you a lot of insight. It really, really, really does. So 100% start journaling, y'all. Even if it's on your notes, even if it's like, you don't like on a receipt, on the back of a receipt. I don't know what receipt would be long enough for someone to journal their whole day, but it doesn't need to be like this official thing. It really doesn't. Like, take time for yourself. Sit down, take time, close your eyes, look inward, replay your day, express feelings, talk to somebody. Like, talk to yourself, y'all. Talk to yourself. So with that being said, before we close off today's episode, I wanted to share some possible challenges that I believe can, you know, can maybe cross somebody when they are trying to be more self-aware, because making changes to your lives is not easy. It definitely is not easy to break a bad habit. Okay. It is not. Let me tell you that. It is not easy. This is not going to be just, oh, look at me. I'm self-aware and I'm emotionally intelligent and I'm not letting what anybody says get to me. Like, no, it takes time and practice. And it's not easy. But not only that, I know we can be in a situation where our mind plays a lot of games with us. And so I think having limiting beliefs about yourself is it can be a challenge for sure. When you sit there and you think about your day and you think about your actions and you realize maybe you haven't been the best person, but with this realization, it doesn't help you want to become a better person. It helps you say, oh, well, I've already been a bad person. Why change now? I'm here now. I already got my life. I already got my job. I already got my girlfriend, my wife, my kids. Why do I got to change now? Made it this far being rude. Like, why change now? And so having those limiting beliefs isn't helpful. So it's very important that you set a goal for becoming self-aware. What is your goal? Your personal goal to becoming self-aware. Please set that so you can constantly go back and remind yourself why it is that you're even doing this. So that is definitely one of the challenges that I can foresee when someone is trying to make the change of becoming more self-aware. Another challenge that I can foresee is trying to change. So you're making an effort to be more self-aware, to become a better person, but then going back to the same environment that maybe even made you the way you were initially. That isn't healthy. Okay. And I've talked about this on my TikTok before, but staying in a job where you are not happy is so unhealthy, and that is not going to guarantee you success. I don't know who needs to hear this, but my goodness, I cannot tell you how many people I know will stay suffering in a job because they think at eventually it's going to benefit them. Like, what's if it's not benefiting you now? What makes you think it's going to benefit you 3 years later when you are depressed and so unhappy because you have not been doing something that you love for the last 3 years? Like, that is so wild to me. But just be sure that you know where these feelings are coming from. And y'all, at the end of the day, if you are in this environment where people don't allow you to become better, where people don't allow you to change, where people tell you you've always been rude, so I don't believe you're going to change. Like, that's unfair. Let me say that I have been told that before, where people doubt my willingness to grow, and that it really, I'm like, because why wouldn't people want you to grow? But I think that is a whole nother conversation. But choosing the correct people to be in your life is super important. Choosing the correct workspace is super important, y'all. Like, don't give up on workforces or workspaces. All right. There is a happy and healthy work environment. You need to find it. There is a happy and healthy work environment. You need to find it. There is a happy and healthy work environment. You need to find it. Okay. Not any one moment in your entire life should suffering ever be justified. Ever, 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 ever. Please, if you are unhappy somewhere, Do everything in your ability to move away from there and choose your own happiness, because nobody will choose happiness for you. All right? Y'all, love yourselves. Take care of yourselves, truly, and talk to yourselves. Be self-aware of your emotions, of your feelings. Look at them, identify them, observe them, hold on to them intimately. There is a huge, huge transformative potential behind self-awareness. Really. I really hope this video encourages some of you guys to become more self-aware and look intuitively more often, talk to yourself more often. All right, you guys, so we've come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening and following me on this amazing journey. And please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me or ask any questions. All right, so this officially wraps up our first episode, The Power of Self-Awareness. Thank you guys so much for listening. Stay tuned for our next episode, releasing July 23rd at 11 p.m. Central Time. Next episode, we'll be talking about discovering your own spiritual path. So I am super duper excited for this. But until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, keep seeking, keep connecting, and remember that no matter where you are on your spiritual path, all paths lead home. This is your host, Julie Crisell, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.